So we're doing obviously CapCut Descript. We're going to go in deep. Elizabeth is going to do CapCut and Simona is going to do Descript. And we're going to actually share screens and go through it so you can see it. And we'll actually walk you through it. If you have questions, pop them in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat and communicating so we can hopefully answer as many questions as possible. But just to start, my name is Sonia Satra. I will be helping to moderate today. And I'm an executive coach and a creator of something called Moticize, which is coaching and movement at the same time. I also do speaking coaching because my other life was an actress. I used to be on TV for many years. I was Lucy Cooper Spalding on Guiding Light and Psycho Nurse Barbara on One Life to Live. So not Psycho, I promise. Unless it gets crazy, I'll bring out Barbara. But anyway, I'm gonna pass the baton on to my co-host, really the creator of this meetup, Elizabeth Gearhart. Give us an intro, Elizabeth.
Well, thank you, Sonia. I have not seen Psycho Nurse Barbara come out yet. I'm afraid. So, I'm Elizabeth Gearhart. My husband Richard and I have had a podcast. It started as a radio show and was put out as a podcast. So we've been doing that for over 7 years now. It's called the Passage to Profit Show. And I just really got deep into studying podcasts a couple of years ago. And I have another podcast called the Jersey Podcats that I do with Danielle Woolley. And then I have another one that's a storytelling podcast that I do by myself. It's ghost stories related. And I know.
I didn't know this about you, Elizabeth.
I know. I'm going to redo that one though, because I made some mistakes on YouTube with it. So I'm going to rename it and restart it. And I'm waiting for the AI to catch up because I put pictures with it. It was just how I discovered CapCut. I asked somebody I knew and they said, if you want to overlay pictures over your audio, use CapCut. It's really easy. And that's most my intro to CapCut. So that was like 2 or 3 years ago. And I have a podcast studio where it's soup to nuts. People can come in and record their podcast, video or audio, or do voiceovers. It's in Summit, New Jersey. And I also do podcast coaching. If you just don't even know where to get started, I'm working with a couple people now who I'm helping them get started. And it's a lot of fun. It's something I enjoy doing. And I love playing with the software. So I'm really excited about showing you guys CapCut tonight.
Yeah, awesome. And then from Canada, we have Simona Costantini, right?
Yes,
so
Costantini.
Please tell us
Everyone
who
always
you
butchers it, so I appreciate it. My name is Simona Costantini. I run a podcast production agency called Volt Productions. I've been in the industry since 2018. I have 2 podcasts. One is called Happiness Happens, and that is a show where I interview people and different thought leaders to understand what happiness means to them and how we can create a little bit more of it in our own lives. It's actually on hiatus right now, but I will say it still gets insane amounts of downloads. I don't know what I did right with that podcast, but it is just, I checked today and I'm like, what is this? I'm like, who's listening to this? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. I will bring the show back though in the summertime, so I'm excited about that. And the other show that I host is called As It Relates to Podcasting. And that's an industry show where I teach creators, podcasters, entrepreneurs how to launch, grow, and monetize their show. Within the agency, we do full podcast launching, full podcast management, strategy, SEO, YouTube, like the whole thing, everything you need to know from podcasting from A to Z. And I've also co-founded a SaaS company called Northflow, which is a podcast project management system. And that's really cool. So we're just getting out of beta right now and we're already live. So you can try the product and like you can use it. It's free right now. And so it's coming out of beta in the next few weeks. And it's going to paid. So if you have any questions about any of that, just let me know. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I use Descript on a daily basis for every single thing, all the time. And I'm just here to have a lot of fun. So I hope we have a lot of fun.
So I think we want to start with Descript, right?
Yeah, let's start. So
Hey.
take it away, Simona.
All right. So what I have done, I'm actually going to show you guys on a client podcast. This is a show. It's called Decidedly, and they talk about all kinds of things business related, how to have a more purposeful and intentional business. And I was prepping this one to go live, and I thought I would use this as an example. So, what I've learned through using Zoom and through doing different teaching moments on Descript, and also, Sonia, I can't see the chat with having my screen shared, so just let me know if
Right.
there's
No,
something
so
weird
I'll
here.
let you know. So if you have
Okay,
questions, just
perfect.
pop it in chat and I'll let you know.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So what I've learned is that it takes forever to actually upload things in real time when I'm sharing my screen, which is kind of annoying because you can't see the whole process. But essentially, the what I did here and how I started here is I took the episode. So you take whatever file you want to edit. You take even if it's a file that's already been edited somewhere else, you can drop it into Descript. And it creates your project like this. And essentially, what happens is if I delete this, this is the screen that you get when you first open a brand new project. Then, when I go in and I import a file, it'll ask you to transcribe it, and it'll take about, I don't know, just a few minutes. And it will ask you to, yeah, it'll ask you to transcribe it. You can label your host and your guest, and you can label anything that you need within the actual platform. And then it pulls it up as a transcript like this. And so I use this for a couple of different ways. So in the actual editing of the episode, it has a timeline view at the bottom. It has the transcript over here. I know a lot of the different softwares have similar things nowadays, but what I love here is if I were to go to this episode and if I were to click this filler word, I can right click it. Whoopsies. I can right click it. I can click on remove filler word, and then I click ignore. And what I want to do is I want to remove any uhs or ums. I don't remove anything else other than that because otherwise it sounds a little bit too choppy. But then I can remove,
Simona,
yeah,
quick question. Sorry,
yeah.
don't mean to ruin your flow
No,
here.
you're good.
Somebody asked in any language.
Yes,
Does it do this in
actually.
any
It
language?
does, and
Great,
I'll show you
thanks.
where. I know that there's specific languages, so I'll get to that in 2 seconds. I just want to finish this thought here. So, in you can remove your filler words. You click remove all, and if you'll see at the bottom here, it's removed. What I do like about this though is that you can see when you choose to ignore the text removal, you can see where it was and what was there before, so that if you actually need to bring it back, you can. And so if I wanted to bring back this all I have to do is just drag the timeline. Um, and then you can see how things jump in the screen as well to help you get a more smooth transition. Now, in the captions, I believe, hold on, no, in the transcript, it's under Underlord. Underlord is their AI system, and the translation is here. So you can translate to all kinds of different languages. And I do believe that if your episode is in a specific, like let's say it's in French, or if it's in I'm French, I speak French, so French just came to mind. So let's say the episode is in French, I believe it will pull the transcript in French, and if it doesn't, then you can translate it to there. But if the content itself, the language of the content itself, I'm pretty sure pulls in the actual language, because otherwise how would it pull in English on a French episode? You know what I mean? Yeah. Is there any other? I saw a couple things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
you
a
want me to stop?
question.
Okay.
Anytime I
Okay.
remove filler words, the
Yep.
flow is choppy and the adjacent word sounds clipped. Is there any way to avoid that?
Yes, there is. So I'm going to
And while
go,
you're at it, is there
yep.
a way to add to your above question? I had to manually remove the words to avoid that clip.
Yeah. So let's say I didn't choose to remove this. And let's say I didn't, let me see if I can undo it. Um, yeah, I can. Restore removed me. Oh, okay, never mind. I can't. I lied. Okay, so what you would do here, so let's say this is the word I removed, okay? And this part is jumpy. So if I'm going to play this and watch the video here, so let's say it's jumpy, which it's going to be, right? Because at the end of the day, here's the thing. You are removing a word, so it's going to create a little bit of a jump and a little bit of a hop. This is where removing every single and every single filler word is not necessarily needed. I don't think that you need to do it for every single thing. I think if you have those big long hanging ums in the middle of a sentence, I like to remove those. excuse me, but if they're close to the actual episode, sometimes I keep them. So if I wanted to add more space at the beginning of the word here, all you have to do is just drag the timeline a little bit, and you just listen for where the timing is, where it doesn't sound cut off. Because what happens sometimes when you remove an especially an that's right in front of a word. Let me see if I can find one. I don't know. I think it might be a little bit hard for me to find one. Hold on. Okay, let me take this instead. Let's say you wanted to remove the double the here, and you would take this word, this controversy word, and you would want to essentially like you bring it in as close as you can without it sounding choppy. If this makes it sound choppy, I would just leave it, because I don't believe, but hold on. I have to like digress for a second because it is personal editing style and what people prefer. For me, I would rather have it sound good than have it sound choppy and weird, right? So, and I think it's okay to have a double word so long as the person isn't like stumbling over their words over and over and over again and you're like not editing anything out about it. But what you can do here is you can drag your content and you can essentially edit your transitions in between. So now let's say you want to remove this here and you want to lessen this transition a little bit, because if I bring the word right to him, it's going to create a really choppy like gap, like his eyes go down to up. So what I would like to do then is I'll pull a little bit out and I try and get it as close as possible. So it might have to be like a little bit, but you have to play around with it. Another thing you can do is you can add in transition. So it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little white ball thing here. And if you click that, it'll allow you to bring in a transition. You can bring in a blur if you want. I wouldn't do that for every single thing, but you can do it. You can do a crossfade, you can do a cross zoom. And some of them will help make it and lessen, like it'll make it smoother and it'll lessen the effects of your editing. Does that answer the question?
Just, I'm kind of curious because they said that they removed them manually in order to avoid the clip. So if you remove it manually, then you don't get the clip. But if you do it through the just like delete all then you do. Is
I
that
think that,
actually true?
well, I think what happens is when people remove them all automatically, there's two options, right? So if I were to go here and click remove filler word, you can choose to delete them all together, or you can choose to ignore them. When you delete them, they remove from your script directly. So you can't actually see them anymore in your script, which is why I like to click ignore instead so that I know where they are. And so it would make it a little bit more seamless, like when you can actually find them. But hold on, this person she just added onto the question. Well, I was
Yeah,
referring
so
to
she just
audio,
said
not video.
yeah.
Well, Simona, can I just interject for a minute?
Yeah.
So I had a video and I was doing it manually and it still clipped the next word. And I went back and tried it a bunch of different ways and I didn't know how to restore it because I don't use Descript as well as you do. So I had to reload the video on there. And somebody said to me, well, I always make a copy so that if I really lose a lot, then I have the
Yeah.
copy. But I think that's a little bit of a bug in the system. And I
So is
think
it kind of like this, Elizabeth? I'm not sure I fully understand. Is it like if the is like attached to the word? Like if it was
yeah,
like halfway through the word?
yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
So I think that's the challenge when people are like speaking, you know what I mean? Because people will talk and sometimes people will say, so da da da, and you can't really clip that. It's really difficult to get a tight edit on that. So then what I would do is I would go back to like my regular editing days when I used to do it on GarageBand, and I would go in as far as I possibly can, where the sorry, hold on. There we go. Find where the word ends, and you got to like zoom in for it. You click the blade tool and then you can cut it,
Okay.
and then it allows you to get like a smoother.
So what did you do to zoom in?
Oh, I just scrolled in on my I'm on a Mac and I just scrolled in on my keyboard, but let me see. You can do, if you're on a Mac, you can do Command plus or Command minus.
Okay.
And then if you're on a PC, that would be Control plus, Control minus.
Okay.
Let me see if there's another. No, I don't know how to scroll in otherwise. So, when you're just so used to doing something by
I
muscle
know.
memory.
Well, people are just going to get what I what I use on CapCut. The nice thing about Descript and CapCut, I will say, is there are a ton of YouTube videos out there.
Yeah.
So if I'm going along and playing with it and I don't know something, I ask Perplexity or YouTube and it tells me or shows me a video.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard though too because it's hard to like formulate what the question is,
Yeah.
So that can be like a little bit of a challenge, but let me go in. So that's just kind of like a little bit of the way that we set up and we prep the file and so on. So I do all of the editing first before I go in and start doing any work on like clips or anything like that. So I like to leverage and use, and I don't just use it. I use a combination of different things. It really depends on the client. It depends on the content. It depends what we're doing and what we're creating. So I use this Underlord tool. And in here, there's so much stuff that you can do. I've played around with this creating a highlight reel. It works a little bit, but it doesn't work as well as I would like it to. But what I typically usually do and where I start is I start with finding highlights. So I like to find about 10 highlights and then I get AI to help me find them within the transcript. And so we're going to let this think. And then what it does is it pulls up different clips and I can jump to different ones throughout the transcript, throughout the episode, throughout the recording, and it'll tell me how long each clip is and so on, so on. Some of these can be really good quotes and we can use them for written quotes or carousels and so on, so on. And then some of them you can use for clips as well. So if I wanted to take this clip and make it its own clip, you can I'm just doing this for like, an example. You can highlight the whole part that you want as a clip. And then you can go to this button here. It's a plus button and it says duplicate to, and you want to use new composition. So what happens is in here, it's going to show me this new clip here. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to rename it. There we go. Test clip, so on, so on. Actually, that wasn't a very good example because I want to show you guys two people talking together. Please hold. Oh, you know what? This was edited. This was edited by someone. This is a very long story. This is a client that we just took on the production of their show. So this is not going to be a great example of stacked clips. So let me go back and let me go to this episode instead. And okay, so I'll go here because this is a little bit of a better example. So, okay, let's say I wanted to take this whole section here and turn this into a clip. So I'm going to highlight what I want, click new composition, and then in the new composition, I can see that it's right here. So here, go test clip, so on, so on. And then here's where you can change the landscape. So you can change it to be a landscape video for YouTube. You can change it to be a portrait for Instagram, or you can change for it to be a square image for, wherever else. I wouldn't suggest that, but I would use this. And then now I can play around with this here. So I'm going to move you guys to this side. So if I go to scenes in here, right now, all three people are on a separate track. And because of the way that this episode was edited, this person is by himself right now on here. If I want to show the other two guests, I just turn on these little eyeballs and it'll bring them into the frame. And then I can just line them up like this. I try and make them equal for the sake of, time and all intents and purposes of what we're doing today. I'm just going to, there we go. So we can do like this. And now I have them all stacked one after the other here. So from here, I can go in and I can add in a caption. And so on my keyboard, because I'm using a Mac, I'm going to use Command K and I just type in the word caption and it'll allow you to insert a caption. So I can put this up here if I wanted to. And then I can go here and I can change the color. And then you can go through and as it's playing, like as you'll see, the caption is running. So that's one way to create a clip and you can do that manually. The other thing that you can do in here as well is, I think it's under project, no, scene. Transitions. You can add in transitions. So I can click here and do smart transitions, which is a brand new feature that Descript has. I've never tried it before, so we're trying it live. So I'm going to see if it actually works. But no, it looked like it didn't pull anything on here. Hold on, let me just check. Maybe if I change the amount of seconds. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why this feature, every time I've tried to use it, it doesn't work that well because it's in a beta phase. But what's really great with here is so now, okay, so I have this clip that I created myself. And what I can do is as I'm going through, let's say I want to put a break here and I want to change the frame or change the way it looks. All I have to do is put a backslash here. And now this means that everything that's within this, oops, not that one, sorry. Everything that's within this little like this section here is going to be edited by whatever I do. So let's say I wanted him to be like this, okay? And I wanted to have him start off. So, he's talking, and then he's going to flip into back to the 3. Now, what I can do here is I can add in a transition. I can do like a crossfade, let's say. Nope, not there. Haha, I want it over here. Here, crossfade. Let's try, I want to try something that's more like that you can actually see. And so you can create like a blur so that you can transition between things and not have it be so obvious. And then if I wanted to go through and add a couple of more, I can do this and I could pull this down here, for example. So then you can see how it jumps to like that as well. And then it'll allow me to pull the caption down, which is great. And then it's going to continue going through and then it's going to flip again. So you can go in here and you can edit things however you want to edit them. And you can add your line breaks throughout to do different things. Does anyone have any questions right now? Because there's another way of doing this as well that I want to show you. This is the manual way of you like picking and selecting clips and doing it yourself. And you can truly do whatever it is that you want on here. Another thing that I like to do sometimes is I like to put their logo. So if I want to drag and drop, all you have to do, you just upload it to your files in here, drag, drop your logo, and then I can drag it a lot. Too small. Oh, come on. No, this one. Here we go. There we go. I can drag and drop it across like this, and then I can go onto the actual logo and I can, make it small enough, put it up in the corner, something like that. I can put it in the bottom, wherever. And then I can take this end frame and I created this end frame for them. And one thing that was happening was that the end frame wasn't actually showing the way that it was supposed to. So all you have to do, I just had to put a backslash and then drag this up. And then you can just add it on directly and then you're good to go. A couple of other features, they have different elements that you can do as well. So you have different text options here. You have different elements like arrows and all kinds of stuff that you can add in as well.
One pause here.
Yeah.
And before we start a new thing, the filters are confusing. It says choose style, and I'm not sure if the filter works for the video.
Hold on, let me open the chat so I can read it. Filter I'm not sure I understand the question.
Is it because you're not sure which ones to choose, or is it that you're not sure how it works? Maybe you could just
they might be talking about iMovie specifically, because they were talking about iMovie, I think. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
I was like, iMovie. Okay.
Yeah. Because if you have on here, like if you wanted, like you can do your transitions and stuff like that. But here's the other thing too, just like to that point right there, you can edit all kinds of stuff in here. Like if I go to scenes, I can add in like a background, I can add in different effects, and I can also do a color adjustment on here as well. So you can play around with that. what we like to do within the agency is we like to do all of this stuff first on each individual video first as we're uploading everything in, instead of having it impact everything, because you'll see it's like doing everything all at the same time. But it is an option to do color correcting on here, which is great. And then you can do like blurs and this and that. And then another thing that you can do as well is you can center the active speaker. So if someone is like, on your screen, you can like center them automatically. And through Underlord, you can actually, there's an eye contact filter that if you're feature, sorry, that if you're constantly like looking away and all that, you can like, it'll pull your eyes back to the front, which is really cool. It looks really creepy if you have like light colored eyes. Like I did it for my video once and I was like, this is like, I have like blue eyes and green eyes. Like it just depends on the day. And I was like, this is not like, my eyes look so weird. So I was like, this is not for me. But if you have darker color eyes, I think it would work really well. You can also add in a green screen if you wanted to. You have your automatic multicam feature too for when you're editing. So what it does, it automatically goes between back and forth. So if you see here on the main video that we were editing, it does bounce between each person and has them side by side and so on, so on. And you can actually see all of the different scenes and all of the different things that we created on the left over here. And so we do that automatically, and then we adjust them as we go. And as we're editing, we'll go in and we'll make adjustments and stuff as well, just so that it actually like looks good in the final product. Now,
we do have a question.
Yeah.
Before maybe we get too far, it's going back to the backslashes.
Yeah.
So a question about the backslash. Can you do more than one thing between the backslashes, like expand the guest picture and add a logo?
Yes, exactly. You can. So if I go back to here, this test clip here. So let's say, okay, so do you see all of these line breaks here? Like these little line breaks. Every time there's a line break, that means that there's a backslash. And it creates different scenes, scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. So you can have different scenes in your composition. So let's say I only wanted the logo right in the first one. Then I can just have this be only here. I can fade it out so that it looks, if you watch the screen, it'll fade it out directly. You can fade it in as well. And what's great about this too is you can pull this and make it as long or as short as you want to, which I absolutely love. Another thing that's fun that you can do I think it's under elements. Hold on, let me just double check where. No, stock. Yeah, under stock. So you have all of your GIFs. So if you wanted to add in a different, like a GIF, for example, and if you wanted to, don't we all just love The Office? So let me just drag this one in here. So because one thing with GIFs is if you don't have this on, it's going to, it drives me nuts with these. And this is all like real time, like it is what it is, it happens. But when you put a GIF into your frame, it will absolutely go based on where your markers are. So if you only want the GIF for like 30 seconds, you need to put another marker so that you can, so that you can drag it and make it only as long as you need it. So this GIFs are based off of the marker. So now I can go here and I can put that wherever I want it. So if you can have it pop in, obviously this isn't like a very pretty video. Like I'm not editing. I'm just trying to show you all the features.
Quick question about the GIFs. You can choose GIFs from the search or do you download them?
No, you can actually, you get them. Everything is already in Descript directly. And if you need different ones, you can search for them. And then another thing that I love also is you have different stickers, you have images, you have B-roll video, and you have regular images. So all of your content is like built in. You don't have to go and source all of this stuff, which is awesome. And then you also have stock music too. So if you need different music, if you need sound effects, anything like that. Like for one client we were editing and she was saying, oh, I'm going to pour myself a cup of coffee. So we found like a sound of pouring a cup of coffee. So it just helps you bring in and create like a more immersive experience through the audios, through the sounds. And you can do that in your main video and you can also do it in your clips as well. So I'm going to go really quickly and show you this other way of creating clips that I love. And this works best if you have 2 separate audio tracks, okay? Or 3 separate audio tracks, or like 1 individual track of just one solo host. It doesn't really work. Oh, you're welcome, Serena. It doesn't really work well if it's like a Zoom video, but there are ways that you can edit clips on Zoom, and I can show you how quickly. So if I go here and I click on, so the first version, the first way that I showed you was through Find Highlights. So that's where you go in, you highlight your stuff on your own and so on. This one here is called Create Clips. This is where it's going to go in and it's going to pull based off of your best content throughout a whole bunch of different clips, and it'll put them in new compositions for you. What I like about this is it's a good starting point, and you can do more edits on top of it afterwards. I would recommend, if you're doing a solo episode, choosing one of these 4 here. If you have 2 guests, you can put one on top of the other here, and you'll see that there's different types of captions. Like there's different ways that you can generate them. If you have 3 guests, you can do one of these, 4 guests, so on, so on, so on. Like there's all kinds. So we know that this video is of 3 guests. I personally like this one the best. That's just my personal preference. And I'm just going to select it and I'm going to click on submit, and I'm just going to wait for it. And as I'm waiting for it, can you remove
I
sound?
got a question.
Yep, I saw
Yeah,
it
you
came
got
up.
that.
I saw
Can
it
you
come up.
remove sound from a video when we record new audio for it?
Yes, you absolutely can. So if I wanted to let me go back to this test one really quick. I'll try and show you in real time. So I don't know how this would work for like it depends what you're doing with it, but I'll just show you from what I think you're asking. So if I wanted to mute this right over here, I can click scene and no, layer, and then turn off the audio, and it turns off the audio just for this section here. Now I can click record audio only, and it's not going to let me do it. Oh, it will let me do it. Ha ha ha. So let me put it here. Testing a recording for this episode. Then I click stop, and it's going to pull it in to here. It's going to process the recording. It adds a transcript to it directly, and I can take it, I can pull it, and I can drag it and put it on top of whatever the spot was that I needed to pull it in. It's going to go a little slow for a hot second just because, there we go. Here we go. Okay, it's just going to take a minute. Okay, then I can go here and I can, drag this to make it fit, and I can fade it in using these little dots. I can fade in and I can fade out. And so, yeah, so you can record directly in Descript. You can record with guests directly in Descript. And you can record in many different, like doing many different things in here. So let's go back to our clips. So after all of our clips, I might have to regenerate it again because I hopped out of the thing, but it will be fairly quick. Famous last words, am I right? Okay, let me go to Underlord. Yeah, no, it's going to make me redo it again. Okay, so if I want to create clips from the main episode here, I'm going to click on this Create Clips button. And then, we're going real slow now. Oh, here we go. And here's all of my clips. So here's all of the clips that it picked for me here. And what you're going to notice is it actually automatically pulls them in to here. Like all of these down here. So I'm going to just click on one. And what it does is it automatically splits the screen for me. It pulls in all of their audio directly. And I'm going to show you because it also has different transitions automatically integrated. So you see how it flips back and forth like that, which is great. Hold on, I got to close this. There we go. So anyways, you can play around with this as well. Let me just click on done here just to get this off the screen. And then if I go into here, it'll tell me how many, like what the layout is, the backgrounds, how many transitions are within the episode. And then if I need to make changes or edits to the caption, I just click on the caption. I can click on the font, the size, and I can change the colors. I can add effects. I can add animations. So their brand colors are orange. So I like to have this orange color behind the transcript. And if I wanted to add in like an effect in, I can. So I would just click on this effects button. You can do a shadow, you can add all kinds of effects. You can blur, you can animate things. And then again, you can bring in your GIFs, you can bring in photos, you can bring in logos, you can bring in anything, end frames, music, and then you can customize from there. Whew,
Great.
that was a mouthful. So that's essentially clip creation in Descript in a very quick intro. Not sure if anyone has any questions.
Here's your chance.
I know. Not everyone at one time. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Do people have that? Is there anything that you want sort of refreshed or redone, or
This
you
is
good?
all recorded, so
Oh, good.
I know it went. Simona's a really fast talker, which she has
Oh,
to
am I?
get all
Oh,
this in there.
man. I have to be, because otherwise you can't get it all in, you know?
But
I
you
grew
know
up in
what? You can play back a YouTube video in slower motion, right? You can play it at
can.
75%
Yeah.
speed.
You can. And if
So-
you put it into Descript, they even have an option for you to do that as well. You can click on this button here and it changes the speed of your video.
Great.
How about
The
if we go to
recorded version is going to be on the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
right?
I'll be sending out an email with the link to the YouTube channel. So don't worry if you miss some of it. Yes. And
Also, one quick question. Is it advised to record into script?
Into Descript directly?
Into script. Yeah. Yeah.
I do it because I don't want to pay for Riverside FM and pay for this and pay for that. I would rather record into Descript automatically versus recording into Zoom, for example, because I don't like the quality that I get through Zoom. So here you get really good audio and really good video quality. So the other company that I'm a part of, Northflow, we have a podcast for that company as well. It's called Behind the Workflow. And my co-host and I, we do all of our recording directly through Descript all the time, and we've never had issues. And it's awesome because then when you're done recording, it just uploads everything directly in here for you, transcribes everything automatically. Now I can go straight into editing it, create my clips, and then I'm done, like from start to finish. A 1 hour, like a 30-minute episode from start to finish, including the editing, maybe it will take me like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours but that's everything. You know what I mean? Not just the editing, because we all know editing takes a long time as well.
You're kidding. Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, you're fast though.
Well, we've been doing this for a couple of years. But yeah, there's a lot of features and there's a lot of things that we can do within it. So I know that, like Melissa said, so many questions need to digest it first. Christy says recording will be helpful. Katie says, all I can say is that there's a lot of options and features, just have to use it and practice with it. Exactly. And I'm going to drop my email in here, and I'm also going to drop my Instagram, and you can message me anytime. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Send me a voice note if you want. That's always easy too. But yeah, feel free to send me any questions or anything, any thoughts, anything that you need help with. I'm happy to help. And I'm also going to be doing a masterclass where it's going to go through and like break all of this stuff down. I don't have any, like, it's not created yet, but it is coming. So if you do want to be notified, just let me know. Do you create a few versions for each podcast, wide for YouTube, vertical, TikTok? Okay, so yes, so I can really quickly share a little bit of the workflow. So this main video that I showed you up here, you know what? I actually don't know what the masterclass is going to be priced at. The last time I did it, it was $22. So probably somewhere around there. I don't know, maybe a little bit more because it might be a 4-part series.
Yeah.
But it doesn't exist yet. I had done it a couple years ago, and it just then they went and they updated everything with Underlord. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I have to redo this masterclass now. But okay, so let me just really quickly answer this question here. So I like to create a couple of different clips for each episode. So I pull about 5 clips out for each episode. And then I use them strategically on different platforms. So I don't post every single thing on every single platform. It really has to do with your content strategy. which is important. But this main video here, I format this for YouTube. And then I actually, depending on the client, because this client has the same audio and the same video, like everything is the same. If a client has a different audio track, then we'll duplicate this track here and we duplicate it and then we format it for audio. So then we'll add in the intro, we'll add in the outro and so on. And then when I upload this to YouTube, I upload the full video to YouTube and then I take all of the clips and I upload the clips to YouTube as well. So I only really end up with like 2 different sizes. The wide video like this for YouTube and then 5 vertical clips because they're all the same like spec in the same format across all of the channels. So I hope that answers your question. I'm cutting into Elizabeth's
awesome.
time.
Yeah, so we're going to
sharing.
move now to CapCut. So thank you so much, Simona.
I'll talk
Check
fast.
out her email if you have any other questions, shoot it to her, and we will
Please
definitely
do.
keep you in the loop when her Descript class comes out. So Elizabeth.
So look for the email because the email will have everybody's email address and all the links and everything. Let me move this bar out of the way. So this is what CapCut looks like. And you can see I'm signed in under Fiona. That's my little ghost. If you go to CapCut, so I have Fiona's space. I'm just going to start with Fiona's space, but this is what it looks like. And there is a free version. I do pay $20 a month for the advanced version. There's our dear friend Sonia interviewing somebody. But I have some videos that I uploaded. So let me see. Here. This is not the one I wanted to play with, but I can. So is this okay with you, Sonia?
Sure.
Okay. Otherwise, I had some others.
No, it's totally fine.
Okay. Well, let me go back here. Because I don't know. I didn't get Lynn's permission, so I'm kind of afraid to. So here's my media. So if you want to upload media, you upload it here. So you can upload videos or you can upload pictures. So I did upload media. So I'm going to, let me see, put this on here. And let me see if I can delete that. Delete and delete. And let me delete that and put it back on there. Okay, so let's put this on there. So I usually just click and it goes over. It's kind of slow. I don't know why it's being slow.
I find it's always slow once you're sharing your screen. So it's not like it's not an effect of the actual software. It's just that you're sharing your screen, I think.
Right. So this is a video I did, and you can see I was messing around. I recorded it myself. I didn't have a producer. So I go over here and I know there's a part where I'm playing with my hair, so I had to restart it. So I can pause it here and I can do a split and I can get rid of this, just put it in the trash. And then that's gone. Now I can play it from here. So if you look at our setup, and then what I wanted to say about CapCut is everything that you can add is on this side. So all of this stuff is stuff that you can add on another timeline. And I'm going to show you that, how it creates a timeline. And then if you want to edit anything, it's on this side over here. It does a lot of the same stuff that Descript does. It's just a little different layout. And it might have different bells and whistles a little bit. But what I use it for, the one thing I used it for was I like to put images on top. So I was doing a video about the studio. So we have 3 cameras set up. We have 3 cameras. So I went into Canva. I don't know how many of you use Canva, but oops, that's not what I want to do. I wanted to move this over to a new timeline. So these things, all these are big on timelines, right? So now if I hit
Somebody
play.
says they can't hear anything. Is anybody else having difficulty hearing something? Can you all hear Elizabeth? Just give a Y for yes if you can.
Hear me talking?
Okay, excellent. All right,
Okay.
no problem. We got the answer.
Can
Just
you
wanted
hear
to
the
double check.
Can you hear the video talking?
Sitting here with somebody, we would
Yeah.
definitely
Okay. So now I put this picture in
be
here.
using all three cameras. One camera would be pointed at whomever I was speaking with, and another camera would be pointed just at me, and
So
then
then-
we have the middle camera. And if we had a producer sitting behind the desk,
So you can put pictures in like that on top of whatever you're saying. Then, okay, so I'll put my pictures all the way along. Let's say I wanted to put some audio in here. Now, what my assistant does, who's really good at CapCut, she puts the audio in, but then she goes to YouTube and runs it through YouTube to make sure there aren't any copyright issues. So maybe I put in happy. Okay, I like that one. Okay. So I'll bring it down here and put it on another timeline, right? If I can. And now when I play it,
center camera.
that happy is really loud, right? So I have it highlighted. So these little blue bars show that it's highlighted. So that's what I'm working on right now. So now I want to change that. So I go over here. So I can go to basic. And here's the volume. So you have to make the volume less. And here's noise reduction. I know in Descript, they have studio sound, which does the same thing, right? So noise reduction will take out any background noise, and then beats detection. If you have beats in your video, it will detect those. I've never used that. Sonia knows what that is. Sonia, when would you use beats detection?
So I've actually never used beats detection either. I've used noise reduction a lot because I
Okay.
live in New York and a lot of times I need that.
Okay. So,
sorry.
That's okay. So now I've turned this down. So now let's see how it sounds.
There was somebody podcasting next to me over here. The two of us would be showing up on the center camera. The reason I'm only
So now the music is fine, right? So maybe though, when I'm in one of these pauses, I might want to do something different. So I'm going to highlight my main video again. And I'm going to shut that off. And I want to I want to spread it out a little. I want to magnify it. So I magnify it here. And this is really touchy. So you have to be really careful when you're magnifying it here because it goes really fast. But then I can see I don't have my sound completely lined up. But maybe now I have a pause somewhere that I want to fill. So if I go up here, this is music. And Sonia told me about this. There are sound effects. And I think Simona touched on those too. And these can be really fun. So if we go to like the magic, so maybe I want to put that in here somewhere. But that's like a really long sound effect.
this is going to be too much, right?
So I don't need it for that long. So I can make it smaller like this. And then I could just have a little sound effect. And if I don't want the music playing during the sound effect, maybe, then I can cut this and I can move this over here. And then I can go like this.
And do close-ups on me and pull back.
So we're not hearing the music.
Oh, you're not?
Right. So.
Or the
Let me
sound
see.
effect,
I wonder
actually.
Do you think I turned it down too far?
Maybe.
Let's see if you can.
Yeah, try turning that up. Well, you are up there.
See.
All three cameras. One camera.
Can you hear it now?
Pointed at whomever I was speaking with, and another camera.
No.
Could you hear the sound effect?
No.
Oh,
I
well,
didn't hear either of those.
just trust me on this. So you could,
and I know you're on this loop. Just a foreshadowing. Could you show if CapCut is able to emit and edit like Descript when it comes to the content? and sectioning off different speakers, but you can address that later. But just
Right.
wondering about that.
So in order to do anything like that, so we would have to highlight this, and then we can get, let's get rid of this. Then we can get the transcript. So, oh, I need to go back here, and I need to go to elements, media, and I need to be, oops. Oh, text. Oh, you can bring text. Oh, here is transcript. Sorry, I wasn't seeing it. So it can generate the transcript. And you can do the same thing as you can do in Descript.
There's a question of in Descript, Simona was showing us how we could like take 3 different, single shots of 3 different speakers and sort of layer them into one shot. Are you able to do that, do you know, in CapCut?
You can do that in CapCut. I don't have an example here, but what you would do, so for instance, with our studio, we have 3 camera feeds. So we use a A10 mini ISO. So ISO means isolated feeds. So it brings in 3 camera feeds at once. So you would take each of the isolated camera feeds, and what my editor does, you would put a camera feed on each of these tracks. And then I think it has an automatic function to focus on the speaker on each one. But you can go through and manually, if you want to, get the people speaking, and you can do the 3 people in a row that Simona did in CapCut. So I haven't personally done that, but yes, you can find out anything you need to from a video, but you can basically do most of the things that you can do in Descript in CapCut now. I will say that this transcript in CapCut and this transcript editing is new. It's the last time I looked, it wasn't here.
Yeah,
So
that's new for me. I love this. This is great.
Yeah, so up here, you can identify filler words and you can take them out. It gets really choppy if you do that. So 1 filler word, 26 speech gap. So what you can do with the speech gap is you can let the music play. You could purposely have those in there if you want to put sound effects in there. If you remove them, again, before you do anything like this, you want to have all of your tracks lined up together. So you want to have everything there. If you remove them, look down here, it's really choppy now. But what you can do is you can do a transition. So let me see where transitions are. That'll split the scene.
And people are also asking if you can do live components, kind of like we just saw happen in Descript. And I don't know if you know this, what's the maximum tracks you can have? Like you said, you could have the 3.
I don't know the maximum tracks. So this automatically finds scenes and splits the video into several clips. So that does the same thing that Descript does. And this you manually split. That's delete, reverse, crop, flip horizontal, freeze. I'm looking for transitions. Let me go over here. Oh, and here again, you have the camera tracking, the auto reframe, the retouch, remove background. Speed. And I'm sorry, transitions I thought was right here, but here's the transcript. Okay, language used. We already transcribed it, so it's no big deal. Sonia, do you remember where transitions are? I just used them today, and for some reason I'm not seeing them.
Yeah. Is it under effects?
Might be. The effects. Those I have not used.
That's a lot of effects, though. I think that could add some really cool stuff to your videos.
Right. And there's elements too. So you can add elements to your videos if you want to. I tried AI avatars today, but it didn't work. Oh, here's transitions. It was hiding down at the bottom. Sorry about that, you guys. So some of these transitions will let you make it almost seamless. But there was one that was really fun that I used earlier. So you could do a transition like that there. And then if you hit play.
Casting next to me over here, the two of us would be showing up on the center camera. The reason I'm only using the center camera is that I'm doing.
So you can see it kind of took out some of the choppiness. I mean, you could use blink as a transition here. That was the fun.
It can switch between cameras. So if you look at our setup, we have.
By the way, while you're setting that up, I just did a quick search and it seems like you can use unlimited audio and video tracks on CapCut. So I don't know how many you're planning on using, but it's unlimited.
So, and you can cut them up, and then you can also, you can do captions. So I think Simona showed captions, right?
Yeah.
And then, let's see if it's, so again, you have to have it highlighted here to work on it. So background, you can do a different background color. And it looks like it stole some of this from Canva, right? It gives you some of your brand colors, smart tools. We said auto reframe, retouch, move background, camera tracking. Audio, again, this is where you adjust the audio. So fade in, fade out. Oh, one that was really fun. I thought this was so fun. Let me get a short one here. Was voice changer. So if you go into audio, you can do voice changer. And this takes a little bit of time to do. So I don't know if I should do it here, but it is, if you like playing with software, this is really fun. It'll do it on one of these at a time. I think you might be able to change it to all, but like if we went to this one, if we make this a little bigger, so we zoom in a little more so we can see this one. I don't know if voice changer will work, but we can try it. Let's see, which one did I do? It takes a little bit of time. Oh, this one might not work. You know what? I guess with the screen share.
Reminds me of my ChatGPT voice. The first time I got on, I had Monday, who apparently is so like sarcastic and down. Oh, sure, I could find that for you. I was like, you are completely not motivating at all. Oh, would you like me to be happy, happy, happy? And so I started to be like, yeah, could you sound like an excited teenager? And it started to change. It's kind of funny.
So can you guys hear the video? Can you hear the video? Oh, so you can't hear the voice changer?
So, however.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Oh, okay. So these are so much fun, as you know, especially if you're doing a storytelling podcast, maybe, or like what they call scripted fiction now. These are so much fun, but they take a little bit of time. And they have a library, but you could do custom, create a voice with a 5 to 30-second recording. So you could create your own voice and put it in there. That's why I just think CapCut is so much fun.
Can I add something to that, Elizabeth, just from like the voiceover point of view? Because I was just judging a whole bunch of submissions for the International Women's Podcast Awards, and one of the big things that I saw and like learned was not even learned, but just one trend that I saw and really came to life was how much storytelling people add into their episodes today, to like their content and their podcast episodes. So it's really cool that you can do a voiceover effect because you can bring different elements in of a story. And I think it gives you a really cool output without having, to possibly hire, 7 people to do one episode or have a whole bunch of people sit down and, I don't know. I just think it could be really cool to broaden your ability to produce content. So I think that's really cool. I didn't know I did that.
Yeah. So
It's so interesting. Did you see that in any of the things? Can you give an example of how that was used?
In the ones
Yeah,
that I was
yeah, in
judging?
the competition. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just curious.
So I'm not allowed to like, I don't think I'm allowed to share like which ones I like listen
Oh,
to. And it was
okay.
actually
Yeah.
interesting too. Because I speak a different language, they tasked me with like 50 entries of not 50, maybe like 25 entries that were all speaking a different language. And it was, it was like, oh my God. But it was really good. It was a good exercise. But a lot of people would bring in different elements, a lot of music, different, like if you're like, oh, I was like running up the stairs, like having a stair noise, different voices in to play different parts. It was really cool. It was really cool.
yeah.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
cool.
so you can do all that here with this. Templates are if you want to bring templates into your video, and I tried that and it kind of wipes out the rest of your video and the template takes over. So, but if you want to see them, there's short videos that you could put inside your video. And then elements are things, again, you can put on top of your video. So I know we use this one. And we put it at the beginning of somebody's video. Oh, now it's on there for good. I can't get rid of it. Okay, so, and then you can make it any size you want. I found with some of these, you can't make them bigger, but you can make them smaller. So if we're playing the video and we have that in there, then what's going to happen is, and if you have a weird transition, come on, keep playing.
So, however,
If you have a weird transition, you could put that in the middle with all sorts of sounds. I mean, we're really going crazy here. And then this, again, is music or sound effects. Text. This was really fun. I did a video for somebody and I had the text slide in, so it was really fun. And of course, as Simona showed, you can you can take this text. Oh, maybe not this text. Oh, wait, here. Yeah, you can take this text and you can edit it to be anything you want. So you do it up here. So maybe hi there. And then you can see here, you can change it. And this is the font size. You can't do font color for some of these. And I found that for adding just plain text. So this is a lot like Canva. I don't know if anybody uses Canva, but you can add body text there, right? This, if you want to edit this, there's a little bit that you can do. So you edit this right here. But even so, I don't think there's a lot that you can do. You can't, oh, maybe you can do font. Oh no, sentence case. I don't think you can do font colors on here. But you can do the different fonts and you can do the different points and the centering and then capitals and line spacing and all that. If you want to put captions on, you can apply captions.
Yes, it does appear very similar to Canva. That was a comment in the chat, and it really does, which makes it very user friendly because there's a real familiarity to it.
Yeah, yeah. So here are the captions. And right now it looks like they may just be adding, well, we'll see where they add. So you want to apply them to okay, so it's applying them to the entire video. And if you want to edit it, like you can edit this. Stop, let me edit it. I guess you have to edit it over here probably. But it should, oh no, you edit it here. So you go here and then again, you can do a little bit. So I could make it bold. I think it would let me, there's a
You have to
lag
highlight it.
Yeah, there's a lag time here. You can make it bold, you can make it italic, that, and you can highlight it here or here, and then you can apply it to all. So it'll apply it to everything all the way through. So then even though these,
Right now, I'm only using the center camera. If there was somebody podcasting next to me over here, the two of us would be showing up.
I don't know why it's, yeah, I think it's because I didn't do the last letter. So you
Yeah.
can have captions on here the whole way through. And what else? We did transcript, we did effects, right? That was the video effects you can put in here. We did transitions. Well, we didn't put any
Does
video.
it grab like social media clips, sort of like the Descript does? Or are you able to pull certain
It
pieces
does.
out?
So if you go here, it does pull clips. So that's split. This is split scene, find scenes in a video and split the video into several clips. So it automatically does it. So if we want to do that here, I tried that earlier on this video and it didn't find anything that it liked. So
Can you upload a still image and have it pan across it or zoom in and give it a video effect?
that I would have to check. I'm not sure. So we do have, this is
Pretty sure you can do that.
I'm pretty sure you can, but you can definitely upload a still image. And I think that you can use that animation on the side. I don't know if we want to wait for this scene to split because you kind of get the idea, right? All of this takes so much time.
Oh, it's almost done. We're
Yeah.
so close. Unless it doesn't.
Okay.
There we go.
So no scene transitions found. So I didn't
Oh.
like my video. So that's what it did before, but that's okay. But if we bring in, so we could bring one of these in and put it over the top. If we go to our media up here, and let's just bring something in and see if we can have this. So we can make this last as long as we want, but let's see if we can animate it. So you can do some sort of animation with it.
In this video,
This is not a great.
so that I can play with it in CapCut, which is a video editing.
Oh, so it didn't do it with
And I'll
this.
be overlaying images on top of it. And I think trying to switch on.
So I have not tried taking one of my images and making it into a video, but have you done that, Sonia?
I have played with it. It's possible. You can definitely do it, and it's similar to where you were going with it. It just takes a little more tweaking.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have filters. So you can do your filters here, make it any color you want. It's kind of fun. And then brand kit, and then there's plugins. I haven't used any plugins, but we could see what these are. So royalty-free music for your videos and all platforms. So the thing I know Canva has a lot of plugins too, and you have to register for each one, which is one reason why I haven't used plugins on this. But I will say for the audio, for the volume, I like the music that they have. I haven't done fade in and fade out, but you can. And I guess I'm not going to go.
There's a quick question in here. Same question as before. Do you edit separately for horizontal and vertical?
Oh, that was one thing, yes, that I really wanted to point out. Thank you for reminding me. So if we go back to go back to our home page, and we want to go to Fiona Space, and we want to create new. This is where you choose it. And you, according to the person in the know, my editor, and I've done some with it too, you really want to choose it before you get started. So that one I chose for YouTube. So, and again, this is very similar to Descript in the way that it handles these things. So if I go to my media, I have a short one that I did that I would want to make into a YouTube short. So you can see here, it uploaded the video and audio tracks separately. Oh, that was another thing that I wanted to show you is you can turn the sound all the way down on the video, just like in Descript, and you can overlay new sound on it. So if we're having trouble at all with background noise or whatever, and it's really bad, one thing we'll do is we'll turn down that and then we'll lay this audio track underneath it, and then you can sync them together. But this one, this one I want to do, this was supposed to be a YouTube short. Now, I haven't used this to pull out clips, and the reason why is I use a different software to do it. Let me see. Okay, so here you go. So that's not like very good, is it? So again, like Simona did, I love the look on my face.
Somebody's asking while you're doing that, please describe how the audio is run through YouTube prior to uploading it to CapCut, if possible.
Through YouTube? Okay, we don't, so we record the audio separately as an MP3 file. We don't actually pull it from YouTube. I think you can pull audio from YouTube. I think if the person has set the permissions, let me move this to a better, then you can have the audio, you can pull the audio out of YouTube. So what we do in the studio is we record onto the Rodecaster or onto Zoom, and we onto a what they call a micro SD drive, and we take the micro SD drive out and we put it in an adapter so that we can download it to a Google Drive, and then from the Google Drive we put it in here. So the video files are MP4 files and the audio files are MP3 files. And if you're doing Zoom, you get those separately. So I actually cheated a little bit, and I did this one on Zoom. I gotta find a better looking picture of me in here.
Simona, for Descript, do you know the answer to that for YouTube and uploading it to Descript? If the audio is run through YouTube? Just curious.
So, okay. I'm not
Sorry,
sure that no, it's okay. I just don't know that I understand the question though, because we don't mentioning of your assistant doing this with music to eliminate copyright issues. Okay, so when we edit anything in Descript, we do all of our YouTube uploads manually. I know that there's some people who will do it through their hosting platform, but we don't do that. We do everything manually because I just for like SEO, for searchability, for reachability, like all that, it's better to upload it yourself. But I think if it's a copyright question, I think music that's in these types of platforms and stuff, music that you own, content that you own, and music that's already embedded into these platforms, and I know for sure music that's on Descript will have a copyright on it, but the copyright doesn't impact your video. So it'll tell you when the episode is published, it'll say there's a copyright notice, but it says on it like copyright notice, but this is not impacting your video. Does that answer the question?
Right. And I imagine, Elizabeth, I'm quite sure, Elizabeth, that's the same for CapCut. So
Well, I
if
don't
you
know.
use the music from the file here,
It should.
it should, I'm quite sure it is. It eliminates the copyright issue.
Well, no, it's not always, because
If they have it from here inside CapCut.
so if you take music from CapCut, this is what my assistant has found. She'll do everything in CapCut, then she'll upload it to YouTube when it's completely done. And YouTube will sometimes find copyright issues. So she doesn't actually, she runs everything through YouTube to check for copyright before she puts it out anywhere else, any music that she's going to use. I don't know how many times that has happened to her, but you do have to be really careful because there's a huge fight about copyright right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but
your husband's a copyright lawyer. So.
Yeah. We hear it all the time. But there is this plugin here that says that it's royalty-free music. So you could use the plugin for the music if you wanted to sign up for another plugin.
Question, how long does it take for YouTube to flag something? Not very long at all.
No.
I actually used something that I thought had a copyright, and by the next morning it was flagged.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So when you're going to do 16:9 in here, if you've shot it like a YouTube video, then you have to do the adjustments to the picture, just like Simona did in Descript. So you have to like zero in on the person. And here, if you have two different people, you can zero in on one person and put it on a track, and then you zero in on the person on the other side and put it on a different track, and then maybe you put the audio on a third track. That's what my assistant does. And then you combine them the same way Simona did for Descript. So these are very similar. They're just laid out a little differently, I think. And so I really don't think there are any huge differences between these. But if you're on the video, you do the audio, you can have the video volume go way down, and then you lay your sound over it if you want to record a new video in there. I don't, I think we pretty much covered everything. The only thing I would say to remember about CapCut is whatever you have highlighted on this track, and if you have a bunch of tracks, that's what you can work on over here. So so a lot of times I'll find myself going, why isn't this popping up? Why can't I work on this? And I'm like, oh, because I highlighted the wrong track. That's why. And there's one other thing here. This lets you add a cover. So I don't know if you can do this in Descript from the video. And so, or highlighted. So you can choose one. Oh yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, I love that one. Maybe let it choose from the video. And you can, okay, so maybe I like that one. Okay, so then you can set the cover. But what we do, honestly, we don't make the covers from that. We make our covers in Canva because, and then you can edit this. I guess you can probably, I don't know if you can add wording or anything else. So we do it in Canva so we can get exactly the cover that we want.
You can edit the cover in CapCut here if you wanted.
Yeah. I love Canva. So that's my go-to. So edit cover. So what I have.
So it really, again, looks a lot like Canva.
It looks a lot like Canva, yeah. So you could put text, avocado, do all this stuff. So yeah, so I don't know, maybe we should edit in here. We just never have. We've always done it in Canva because Canva's, we love Canva.
I think it can do pretty much what Canva does in here now. So you could do it directly here.
I think that the reason we didn't do it in here before was I don't know when they added this capability. I mean, that's the other thing about both of these programs, Descript and CapCut. If it doesn't do something you want it to do, go back, and check again. So.
And they're definitely trying to compete with each other. So if one gets it, then pretty soon after the other one probably will too.
So I think we're done. I'm going to stop sharing.